I recently turned 29, which makes this the last year of my 20s. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting on just how exciting, incredibly rewarding, and also insanely frustrating this past decade has been. Independence is such a core component of your 20s, and it's one of the reasons why this decade is so exciting. For the first time ever, you're likely to be living on your own and supporting yourself financially. But with this independence comes a great amount of responsibility, which is why today I want to talk about 3 financial mistakes to avoid making in your 20s. When I graduated college, I got a job offer at a finance company in Denver, Colorado. Moving to this mountainous setting, I convinced myself that I didn't only want, but I needed to upgrade my car to something that had all-wheel drive. The day I moved out of my college apartment, I drove from Lubbock, Texas to a car dealership in Dallas, and I even test drove this brand new Volvo S60. I was totally convinced that this was the car I needed to get around Colorado. And it wasn't until I sat down in the manager's office and had the paperwork to purchase the car right in front of me that I had this moment of enlightenment. And I realized that this was going to be a huge financial commitment and not one that was responsible to make when my life had so much uncertainty. So I ended up moving to Colorado with the car I had at the time, and with some snow tires and some chains in the trunk in case things got bad, I was totally fine. It turned out that I definitely didn't need to buy this new car, and just 7 months into my corporate job, 7 months of misery I might add, I quit the job, which would have been an absolute disaster if I was making a $400 a month car payment. I'm so thankful that I did not commit to buying this expensive car before ever even receiving my first salary, and I was so close. I know it can be exciting to have your own money, and you might feel like you can easily justify making a purchase like a new car because, let's face it, most Americans do drive every day. However, maybe it's my international perspective, but I really don't think a car should be looked at as any more than a means of getting from point A to point B. And when you're in your 20s, purchasing something that loses so much value instantly is a horrible move financially. Maintaining your financial freedom and limiting these types of monthly expenses is what's going to allow you to explore life, to explore the world, and to learn so much more about yourself during this decade, which I truly believe is what it's all about. Now, I just narrowly escaped this poor financial decision of purchasing a new car right out of college, but one mistake that I did not avoid was renting my own place, and one that was really expensive. Now, I know it's very attractive to have your own place for the first time ever. I know most of you probably had roommates in college, maybe you had siblings that you shared a room with growing up, and it's when you're in your 20s that you are presented with the opportunity to rent your own place, to buy your own furniture, to hang your own paintings on the wall, to leave a dish in the sink and not hear about it from a roommate the next morning. When I moved to Denver for my first job out of college, I made this very mistake. Now keep in mind that this was 7 years ago, but I rented a 1-bedroom apartment for $1,300 a month. And like most American apartments, it was unfurnished, so I spent another $2,000 to $3,000 just to move into the place. Now at the time, this monthly payment didn't seem unreasonable. I was making pretty good money, and it was a salary job, so I felt like I could depend on this monthly income. But when I decided to leave my job, which you could argue was a bad decision, but I really felt like I wanted to try something different or I'd be trapped forever, I was stuck with paying for 5 more months of the lease out of pocket. This devastated me financially, and I think it's a really common situation. These days, the average 1-bedroom apartment costs a little under $2,000 per month, which is a massive financial commitment. And I want to add that renting your own place is not just about wasting money, it's also about the isolation that comes with it. When you leave college and enter into the workforce, you're not going to get nearly as many social settings as you did in college or in life before that. And when you rent your own place, it can actually be extremely isolating, and I think this is often overlooked by a lot of people. Sure, it might be attractive to have your own space and not have to share with others, but I think it's actually really healthy to have roommates, especially when you're in your early 20s. You're much more likely to have more social interactions and to build more of a community, and I think that is extremely valuable, especially when you are in your 20s. Alright, now the third financial mistake that everyone should avoid making when they're in their 20s is pursuing an advanced degree without a plan. Look, the university system is extremely flawed in a lot of ways. However, I do think that there are definitely values that you can get from pursuing a degree. But you need to do so with very specific intentions. When I left that corporate job in Denver and I stayed in that apartment until the end of the lease, watching my savings deplete a little more each month, I felt like I needed an answer, and a quick one at that. So what did I do? I enrolled in a graduate program, like so many other Americans. Pursuing an advanced degree can be a great move for your career or a multitude of other reasons. But unless you have extremely specific intentions in doing so, I think that it's usually a very bad move financially. In my case, I knew that I was interested in doing something more creative than I was doing in finance, so I pursued a master's degree in digital marketing, which I now work in, so I'm using the knowledge I gained during that degree program to build a career now. However, I do not think that the money I spent on that degree was worthwhile. In today's world, there are infinite online resources, most of which are either a small fraction of the cost of a university or entirely free. And I know it can be tempting to have the accreditation of a university and to feel like your studies are really validated. I think a lot of people get a title that comes with pursuing an advanced degree. That title being, master's or doctorate student. And that's something they can share with people. That's something they can put on LinkedIn and feel proud of. However, I do not think these are reasons worthy of massive financial investment. It's estimated that the average advanced degree cost $62,000. And that $62,000 just does not seem worth it to me unless you have a very specific plan. So I'm not saying don't go to graduate school, but I'm saying before you make that massive financial commitment, you should have a very specific plan of how that degree and the knowledge gained from the program is going to benefit you in the future. This doesn't even necessarily have to be financial. Although if you're going to shell out $60,000+, I do think you should be able to recoup some of that. Now look, most people's 20s are extremely turbulent, so don't feel bad if you've already made some of these mistakes, or you may not even see them as mistakes at all, and that's totally fine. The goal for this video was for me to share my own experiences on the back end of my 20s and to encourage you to consider the true value of things. As always, please do subscribe because each subscription helps me to make more videos like this, and I hope to see you in the next one soon.